in Lakota, we have this natural law called generosity. So some people have all kinds of names for that, but I'll just use the English so you know what it is. Um, this states that what you send out returns to you four times as strong. Now, some people think, um, okay, so I'm going to do something good, so um, four good things will happen to me. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. Okay? If that were true, then people would be doing all kinds of good things, even though they don't mean it. Yeah, just because they want four good things to happen to them, and it does not work that way. No, ma'am. No, sir. Does not work that way. No, what it means is that the energy, yeah, the energy returns, but not blessings or cursings. Okay? It's an energy that returns four times as strong, and it does something to your soul development. Wherever you're at in your life, this energy, it does something to your soul development. So you hinder your soul development or you um, bless it. Yeah. So it's not about getting something in return, like oh, I'm going to build a house for somebody, so that way maybe I get a Rolls Royce in return and a swimming pool, and see, that's material thinking, materialism. This is not the natural law of generosity. Okay, so it's not about doing something so that you can get something in return. No, no, it's not about that at all. Okay, so um, natural law of generosity, one more time, is the energy you send out returns to you four times as strong. And like I said, it can either hinder your soul development, and if it does that, you go into emotional denial because these two are really connected. Okay, or it can you can bless you can bless your soul development in this way, and your emotional development continues as well. They're both tied into each other. Yeah. But emotional development is a key here because you cannot develop spiritually until you are emotionally developed, emotionally healthy. See, if you're not emotionally healthy, you know, you can go to your culture ceremonies as much as you want to. It's not going to do a damn thing. Yeah, because uh, you might increase in spiritual knowledge, but that does not affect your soul development. What affects your soul development is your emotional well being. That's what's important. Then everything else falls in. Yeah. So, in natural law of generosity, when I say whatever you send out, this is communication. Communication is four things. Actually, it's more than four things. Okay. This is. Let me give you some examples of communication. Communication is a two-way street. So it's not only um, the things you say and do, it's also how you say and do these things. For example, somebody might be saying, "Oh yeah, I help everybody out," but his facial expression is like, you know, says the opposite. Yeah, his words are saying, "Yeah, I love everybody, I help everybody out," but his face is saying, "As long as they're white people." You see what I mean? He's saying one thing, but you can tell he means another by the tone of his voice. See, this is dishonesty. That's that's an unhealthy communication. See, he just sent it out. So even though it's the words themselves, the statements themselves, if you just look at, yes, I love everybody, so I help everybody, those are really nice words, but he said it in such a way that he doesn't mean it. So it's a lie. It's a deception, which makes it unhealthy. So even though the statements are nice and pretty, it's still unhealthy energy because he does not mean it. So that's why I said it's not only what you say and do, it's how you say and do these whatever it is that you said or did. Okay? The other aspects of communication are how do you uh, process your difficulties and enjoy your blessings. That's also communication. Yeah? And what is your thought process like? That's also communication. Okay, now that's half of the definition of communication. The other half of the definition is how do you receive communication? How good do you really listen when somebody's talking to you? Are you forming your response while they're talking to you? If you are, you're not communicating in a good way because you're not really listening. You're just hearing, but you're not really listening. Listening is fine tuning. Yeah, it's really paying attention to what the other person is saying to you. So you don't form a response. Just listen to everything they have to say. When they get done, if you have, if you need to be, if something needs to be clarified for you, that's when you ask your question. So you don't interrupt them because they're on a thought process. And if you interrupt them, they might lose it. This is why I really don't like seeing conversations or interviews where the reporter is constantly interrupting the person because the reporter wants a certain answer. This is manipulation. When you constantly interrupt somebody, you're communicating in an unhealthy way, and that's going to come back to you stronger, 4 times as strong. Yeah, because you're not really listening. You're trying to get a certain answer out of somebody by interrupting them and changing the question. So you're manipulating them. This is not healthy communication. See, listening is part of the other half of the definition. The other things are when you see something, how do you interpret it? When I used to teach at school in South Dakota, I used to put a TV um, in the center of the room, and then I'd have my students sit around the TV at the TV. I'd have my students sit around the TV in a circle. Then I would ask them to, just look at what you see. You stay in your chair. Just look at what you see. Now describe it to me. And for how many ever students are there, that's how many different descriptions you're going to get. I said, just describe what you see in front of you. So one guy might say, well, there's a screen in the front and there's some knobs. And another lady, she might say, no, there isn't. There's nothing back here but a cord and a bunch of dust and and she might say, you're wrong. There's nothing back here. There's no screen back here. See what I mean? They're both correct, but both have incomplete descriptions. But one might say, well, you're wrong. The other one will say, no, you're wrong. They think they have complete description, and they think the other one is false. This is an example of of being judgmental without having the full knowledge. So, for example, this is a big problem today. Yeah, the example being Muslims in the world. People see Muslims. What's the first thing they think? Terrorist. Then followed by harassment, and maybe they don't even know the religion, but they're doing that. You got to do your research. If you're gonna have an opinion on something, you have to do your research. This is healthy communication. When you do your research and then develop your opinion, that is healthy communication. Unfortunately, most people don't do that. Instead, they go by gossip. They go by what one person said. Did you hear about those people who follow the holy mattress religion? Oh my God! I saw one lady, and she was married to a little boy. Oh my God! Those people are bad. That's an example. How if you say that, how did you get your opinion? Did you research the Church of the Holy Mattress? Do you know the history of the Church of the Holy Mattress? Do you know their belief system? And you're just talking. How many members of the Church of the Holy Mattress did you talk to? How many priests of the Church of the Holy Mattress did you talk to? None. Instead, you're just going by what you saw. You didn't even investigate. Yeah, you didn't even take the time to check it out. Instead, you judged it just because of one incident. That's like looking into a book and just reading one sentence. And let's say you have this book and you find one sentence in this book, and this book says, and then the mother put her daughter to sleep for the night, kissed her on the forehead, and said, "Sweet dreams, uh, my sweet daughter, and I'll see you in the morning." And the daughter says, "Mommy, I love you," and the mom says, "I love you too, sweetie." Let's say that's what you read. Can you tell what this book is about just by that sentence or that paragraph? So let's say you read that little paragraph and you say, "Oh, this book is about uh, happy family." So you tell people, "No, this book is about a happy family because I read this one little paragraph and it's really nice. It's a good book." Is that correct? No. The paragraph that I just described to you, you know what book this comes from? This comes from The Exorcist. I read that book about 15 times. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That was one of my favorite books. I only read it in the daytime because the book is even scarier than the movie. Seriously, yeah, it scares the shit out of you. I was a teenager. I really liked that. Yeah. I only read it in school where there's lots of people around me to protect me. Anyway, when you judge an entire group of people based on limited information that's based also on lies and false accusations, that's unhealthy communication. When you judge something without knowing the facts, that's unhealthy communication. So, do you see what I mean when I say how you see something, how you interpret something? This is communication, this is incoming communication. How you interpret it. When you see something, how do you interpret it? When you hear something, excuse me, how do you interpret it? For example, when where I used to live in a different part of the city, and in the summertime, at about 4 o'clock in the morning, the birds start, yeah, in the trees, because Berlin has a lot of trees, and not just in the residential areas, but in the business areas too, yeah. So when I was, sometimes I'm up all night, and summer is hot sometimes. So I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the morning, these birds start singing, and it's nice. In the beginning, it's really nice, but then there was always this one bird. Huh? Huh? It sounds like that, yeah. You hear all these pretty birds, tweet, 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 and all of a sudden, huh? Huh? And I was like, gee, just ruined the song for me. And then I can say to myself, oh, that must be an ugly looking bird because it sounded ugly. Am I being correct? No, I'm being judgmental because I don't even see the bird. But just because it has this weird noise, I'm judging it as, oh, it must be an ugly bird. I'm going to shoot it because it's an ugly bird. That's unhealthy communication. I'm judging something and I don't even see it. How you interpret things is communication too. So that's why I said earlier communication is a two-way street. Yeah? It's outgoing in what you say and do and how you say and do things, how you process your difficulties, you learn from them, how do you learn from them, how you enjoy your blessings. That's all communication. I mean, that's all outgoing communication. And then you have incoming communication. How do you receive it? How do you interpret it? What do you take the time to check things out? If you're healthy, you will. If I want to know something, I want to know the truth. This is healthy communication. So just because I know it, it does not mean I believe it. And it does not mean I agree with it. But at least I know the facts. That's healthy communication. What you send out returns to you 4 times as strong. The energy you send out returns to you 4 times as strong.